Satnam, namaste. I'll wait on you to join so that I can see your questions. I do these every now and then. Gosh, is it really playing? Because it says an error has occurred. Can all of you see me? It's very strange. If you'll type in chat for me for a moment to let me know if you can see me, because it says some kind of error is occurring in the live stream. It's playing and you can see me. Okay, that's really strange. Maybe it's just on my end. It's all sorts of fun technical things this morning happening. How are you? Thank you, Bob. Yeah, I'm still recovering from the dental surgery. It was pretty major. So, yeah, it's rough. What are your questions today? What's going on in your lives? Will you join me in some tea? Yeah, I'm drinking some matcha green tea today. Are you all having breakfast? Have you done your yoga? Bhakti yoga's out there. Have you been chanting? Hi, Rochelle. I'm hoping that today's Q&A is a little different than last time. What is spirituality to me? It's the first question from Anoop. That's really a difficult thing for me to answer because I'm going to give you the perspective that I had along the way, pre-realization, and then my perspective now. My perspective now, actually, let's start there. Spirituality is everything. And one of my favorite quotes from Yogi Bhajan is, if you must see God in all. If you can't see God in all, you won't see God. And what he means by that is every situation, every circumstance is not created as a problem. It's not created as a punishment or a reward. It is created for you. And the people that you see are you. Everything that you see is a part of a creation from the thoughts in the mind and from your own frequency. So my answer to you is everything is spirituality. And when you can grasp that without feeling that you have to separate and that you have to make so many distinctions and that you have to control the way that God shows up in your life, then that state is spirituality. Yeah, that's really all I want to say about that. It's such a simple answer. What isn't spiritual? You know, I was going to give you my perspective pre-realization, but it kind of doesn't matter. Next question. When a person is born, when does the spirit enter the body, before or after birth? Time is not relevant to your question. And here's why. People assume that spirit comes into body, and it is the other way around. The mind-body construct, the physiological and psychological constructs are within spirit. Spirit's out here. Spirit is everywhere, and body is within it. It is not the other way around. So that's, I guess, because of the way that you're asking this question, I can't conceive of an answer. But I can tell you that birth and death in the planes of existence that are reality, birth and death do not exist. Birth and death are creative notions. Spirit is always there. So all of these things that people fight about abortions and all these things that people have to make choices, Please stop worrying. And I'm not going to get into that. Like, I don't condone, support, or not support those sort of decisions. Your body is your body. But I notice a lot of people who are attempting to make those decisions come to me with these questions. And I just really want to share with you that guilt should never be a factor in your decisions. Spirit is so much stronger than body, and it's not a matter of when it enters, because there is no entering. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, Alana. Hi. She asks, is there anything else one can do to manage their energy levels when channeling so much, other than being mindful of food and rest? I love you. But when you say other than being mindful of food and rest, there is no other than. Channels, healers, yogis, pranayama, and pratyahara are such fundamental aspects of your sadhana. And what I mean by sadhana is your spiritual practice, whatever it looks like for you. I know that there are 8 branches to yoga, and pratyahara and pranayama are the most important aspects of what you can do to maintain your energy levels. So many channels come to me and talk about food and how they're struggling with it so much. It's really simple with that. Eat 40 to 55% of your diet raw. You not only will have energy in the morning and you won't be groggy, you will pounce out of bed and be ready to go. When I eat less than that, which has been recently because I have had this surgery, this very strong hard dental surgery that I just went through, and I can only have things that are not crunchy, like they have to be really soft. If there's any degree of chewing at all, I can't do it. And I noticed my energy level is just absolutely plummeting unless I just have raw smoothies. So I have my matcha green tea latte in the morning with coconut milk. I have smoothies. Sometimes I make them, but most of the time I just go down to my farm fresh store right by my office and grab them. But you can make them too. I know time is of the essence sometimes in the American world anyway. But eat 40 to 50% raw, and you will notice your energy levels rising. As difficult as that may be, it is attachments that cause it to be difficult initially. So there's no other than, when it comes to managing your energy, is meditation, breath work. I love holotropic breathing. I love the breathing exercises, many pranayama, pranic breathing exercises that I teach in my Kripa Yoga classes on Patreon, if you wanted to join them. Breathing and being mindful of your breath, mantra work. My goodness, there's so many things that you can do in your sadhana to manage and lift your physical energy levels and emotional energy levels. But pratyahara is going to be just really an amazing part of your journey. It was the foundation of my practice and still is, although not quite as necessary now as it used to be. Hi, Luke. I love you. Your question is, how do you allow yourself to be consumed by love while also remaining linear thinking? You see my face. Normal interaction, he says, rather than remaining awestruck. I don't. I am awestruck all the time at your beauty. All of you. I walked this morning from my office just to my local market, just a quick walk across the street, and was just grabbing, my green tea latte so I could sit here and have tea with you before I get started on my yoga and mentorship sessions for the day. And There was a little girl in the way. Her hair was still wet. The kids are off school around here. She was probably about 10. And she was just walking by me and she lit up when she saw me. And I lit up when I saw her. And we had this um, instantaneous recognition, this God recognition. Um, and we just, you know, I stopped and talked to her because I don't have a standard conditioning, and she talked to me as well. But I could feel a little bit of her conditioning coming in, like, oh no, am I really supposed to be talking to this stranger? Yeah. But it was just such a beautiful moment. And I have these moments all the time. So to answer your question, I kind of do this technique where I count backwards when I have to think. And when I have to think and be in the world, I just realized by connecting to my breath that I can be in it, but not of it. And I count backwards from 5. And upon every numerical increment, I will breathe in and I pull my breath in this way from the base of my spine to the top of my head. And I hold it here. It's something that I've just always felt. That's important part, something about this, the holding breath right here. So I retain it in the crown area, all up in here. And while I do that, I will say something like normally it will be one. I like to say and visualize the word one. And then I exhale all the way back down. And then I hold my breath at the very bottom of my breath, which means after your full exhale, bring the breath down the spine, hold the breath at the base of the spine, and then say one again. That is something that I do to kind of return, you know, to linear thinking, as you called it. Yeah. Can we all be a medium, or is it a gift that is born? Um, I would like for you to examine the word medium and its definition. Let's play for a minute, Indira. Um, Indra. Is that how it's so similar to Indra? Like from the Vedas, but I bet you it's not pronounced that way, is it? Am I pronouncing your name properly? Oh, one of you is noticing my list. I know. I just had dental surgery, and today is the first day that I haven't been coming to work with ice packs all over my face. So I do have a list because I have temporary crowns on 15 of my upper teeth, all upper teeth right now, and it hurts. So I'm adjusting. Thank you for your patience. I want you to examine your word. What does that mean to you? What is your medium? A medium is just something like the artist, goes in a direction with a medium. Channels are the same. So you are a medium for something. It's like a pipe that holds water. That's what mediumship and channeling is about. You become a clear channel for energy from God mind flowing through you, with you, as you. Eventually, as you, when you recognize that nothing is separate, you will not see channeling and mediumship in the same way ever again. So I just have that tidbit of information for you. Not a lot of people are born with it. And if they are, it is conditioned out of them right away. But with practice, anybody can do these things. These should be natural, accessible abilities. All of the cities should be natural, accessible abilities to you. It's just that when you come through this world, there is so much conditioning and there's so much deconditioning of our natural God self. You know what I mean? In educational systems, religious systems, well-meaning parents, everything, everywhere. So if I'm missing your questions, just put them again because they're happening so quickly with so many people here. And thank you for being here today. I appreciate your support. What being have I been channeling recently? Dolores Cannon, mm, Albert Einstein, Alan Watts, um, Lao Tzu, Johannes, that's the son of Yeshua. I have a channeling on Patreon of him on Monday at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I've been working with that being a lot. Um, and Hanuman. Yeah. Happy birthday to Hanuman, according to some Vedic astrology. That's it. Is ACIM the best way to release human conditioning, or simply going within and listening to your own God voice? Um, there has been so much conditioning in society that ACIM is one of the best ways to release human conditioning, as is Way of Mastery, as is Course of Love, as is my book Course in Forgiveness, which you can only get right now from behind the scenes sharings that I give in tier 2 and up on patreon.com. You can see that if you go there and look at the tags there called writing, you'll find it. Yeah, so there are many ways. I wouldn't say ACIM is the best or the worst, but it's one of the best. And in terms of your question about should I simply go within and listen to my own God voice, when there is so much conditioning, um, God is within you always, but you can't get to God and God can't get to you because you have such a personal identification as a mind and a body being. And although you are not a mind and body being, you are not the mind and body construct. When you believe that you are, it's difficult to just go straight into yoga and meditate and to force yourself to meditate. So these are some of the many reasons why A Course in Miracles, A Course in Love, Way of Mastery, and some of the more important Unconditioning Christ Conscious channel books came about. How can I find out who I was in a past life? Oh, I'm going to play with you. I really want to play with you right now. Let's play. Why do you want to know who you are in a past life? That doesn't just go for Mark and Mary. That goes for anyone. Why do you think you need to know? Why do you guys really want to know? I have had people coming to me I think I've been doing this for 20 years as a psychic channel, medium, spiritual teacher, and yogi. 20 years of practice. You've been coming to me wanting to know who you are in your past lives, and I want to know why. So please, everybody, answer me right now. If you have curiosity about your past life, type it out right now. Because it's fun. No, the answer has to be valid. Valid to spiritual development. It may be fun, but what is valid to your spiritual development? What is really fun isn't going to help you in that. Is fun to the ego. Give me something more. Human curiosity, how is that? How is ego curiosity going to help you find God? Because I feel anxious about my future. Future doesn't exist and past doesn't either. So when you put focus on it, your anxiety is going to double. Because when you focus on something that's not real, it is futile in spiritual development. To understand the struggles we have now. That's a little more, that's closer. I can deal with that a little bit more, but all of the beings that are you now and that are you in parallel environments are experiencing the same thing because you choose it. Many people come to me and they say, I don't understand. And you know what that means? That translates to you saying, because I give you answers. I thought for 18 to 20 years as a psychic channel, people would come to me for answers and I would give it to you. Many of you here today have had many sessions with me over the years. And I would give you the answers and tell me how you felt. Did your problems dissipate? Did they disappear right away? Or did they disappear at all? Just by knowing what happened in a past life? Yeah, they don't. It doesn't. Knowing the past doesn't help you deal with what's happening in the future. Intellectual knowledge, understanding does not help you clear something because you're trying to clear something that's relevant to your growth. You're trying to not feel something that you view as suffering. So in lieu of suffering, you do spiritual process work and you look at past lives. And the only thing that does help is breath and sadhana now, right now. Stop all the focus about your past life and focus on you now. Karma is not what you think it is. Someone said, what about karmic memory? Karma is a memory accumulation that is a buildup. You are a heap of memory cellular buildup. And if you keep focusing on the past, guess what happens to that cellular memory? Guess what happens to karma if you keep looking at it and focusing on it? And if you resist it, what happens? It persists, it stays. So focus on what you feel now in this lifetime, and you can go deeply into peace. And when you manage the physiological and psychological constructs of the mind and learn to kind of manage the mind, you're not going to care about what happened in the past because you feel so good. And that is the point. Someone said, so Dolores Cannon's method doesn't help. It depends upon how you use it. There are some very valid, practice, wonderful past life regressionists and practitioners. I think QHHT is good. I think that Beyond Quantum Healing is significantly better. I find many modalities are really good for that, but it's all about your intention. If you want to go back into the past lifetime because of a problem you have now, it may or may not. It depends upon if that practitioner is qualified enough to take that information and bring it into your now, merge it together so that you can really connect to you now. And your conscious understanding is brought into the now. If the practitioner does that, then that's helpful. And if they don't, then it's just more focused on something that isn't existing right now. And right now is the only thing that's real. So karma is accumulated memory that is forever moving, energetically speaking, in and out of the constructs of time. But the constructs of time are not real. Do you guys follow me? Give me a yes. Give me a no. I know this is a pretty profound conversation. I'm happy that you brought it up. It's my right to know? Yeah. It's your birthright. You're absolutely right. And what then? How do you think it's going to help you? All of your information that you need to know is going to come in the exact right timing when you need to know it and not a second sooner. Try me on it. If you are attached to your knowing, if you are addicted to knowledge, you can go into any past life regression session that you want, and you won't be able to even be regressed. You'll be sitting there fully conscious, which is fine, by the way. Yeah. It will come when it's supposed to and not a second sooner. Sometimes when you tap into the Akash and you're playing around with the Akashic records, just because you think you need to know, it can really mess up your life now. Because if you're not prepared to know, and ego had been blocking that for a darn good reason, because ego is an amazing defense mechanism to keep you emotionally safe. And when you go into knowing things that you're not ready to know just because your ego thinks it is, or actually you consciously think it is, but there's a part of you that's protecting you from knowing it, you're playing with things, you're playing with the unknown in ways that you really don't want to. So it takes a very qualified practitioner to pull you into this. Here she says, I want to know all aspects of what? Of the same thing? And why? All of those beings are all, it's like, if Jesus came right down and stood in front of you right now and said, you are me, would you believe him? I want an answer. I'm not sure that you would, But if you could, would you, if there was an opportunity for that? And then you likely would say, I'm not sure. So give me a past lifetime to connect me. Give me another memory. Well, I'm not sure about that. Give me something else. Give me something else. It goes and it goes on and it goes on and it goes on. And the curiosities are endless and endless and endless. Where do you stop? I know I said endless 4 times. I was trying to catch your attention. And then you're just integrating and integrating and integrating. I don't know too many people that have done years of shadow work and who come about and just come back to me and say, you know what, everything's good now. You know what you're doing? You're saying you need more work. You need to integrate more. You need to go into another degree of Akash. JJ, if I answer that, it'll blow your mind. Why do the Akashic records exist? They don't. You heard me right. You have created this as a dream. When you are sleeping, you create incredible creative dreams. You create karma. It doesn't exist either. And the more you understand that, the more you can see how futile it can be to continue to need processes to dig into something that isn't real. And when you can understand what's real and what isn't, you will never want to look at the past ever again because you will be in so much bliss that you will not care. That's real. Yeah, that's real. And what's real is now. The past isn't, the future isn't. You know, are you playing this little role, playing these dreams where you have fractals of beings in different areas of time? Yes, but time isn't real either. So I just want to pull you into your now. Cold designs. Cheers. Mm. Can you shed some light on schizophrenia? Even though fractals aren't real and this dream that you have, that's such a beautiful dream, by the way, of multidimensionality and fractals of God inform everything that you do. Even though it's not real, it's still beautiful and you enjoy it. You enjoy, the creation of the illusion of karma. That's why you do it. So in schizophrenia, it is a split. You have split so much in your dreaming from God that you begin to separate aspects of yourself that you don't like. You begin to say, I don't like that. And you say that so much that a part of you literally splits. This happens in borderline personality disorders, bipolar disorders, all those sorts of things. I wish that people would stop calling them, disorders and diseases. I mean, I can understand disorder more than I can understand disease. However, it's a condition wherein you begin to separate yourself. You're like, I'm going to take everything that I don't like and I'm going to extricate it from myself and throw it over here and say, shame on you. That is schizophrenia. Those are aspects of your being that you're dreaming. When you feel so separate, when you feel that separate and you dig that deeply into separation that you begin to extricate you and hate yourself, then the mind starts to get really insane. And you take everything that you don't like and you project it out here, everything that you don't want to accept about you. And that aspect begins to create an entity life of its own. Some people call that, demonic, partial demonic possessions. They call it demons. They call it schizophrenia. There's so many things in conditioned religious systems and conditioned psychological systems that you call things. And it gets, even though it isn't real, it feels very real. It's like a virtual reality video game. Someone said, tell them ego isn't real either. I will, but you won't believe me. Little check-in on non-existent time. We have 20 minutes to keep going. If my bladder allows for it, I might have to leave soon for the restroom. This tea is yummy. What is awakening? It is the awareness that you were dreaming at some point and that you want to wake up. And then your physiological and psychological constructs, the mind and body constructs, begin to disintegrate, sometimes easily, sometimes rather chaotically. What can we focus on daily? Your breath. Yeah, I know that sounds so simple, but so many people are not mindful of their breath. I know that it's hard for me to breathe and focus on breath when I'm in pain. So I'm having to constantly bring my awareness back to breath then. What if you live on another planet? What happens to karma here? Beings on other planets aren't concerned about what happens to karma here. And if you were on another planet, you wouldn't even, because karma is not real and it only exists here, you would not be aware of the potential for it to be real. So that question would be completely invalid. How to discern between non-duality and indifference. Oneness is not indifferent. Oneness is love. In oneness, you feel. From the anahata, you feel and you are involved in life. Anything indifference is similar to apathy, where you are so disconnected. That is not oneness. That is not non-duality. I don't really enjoy double negatives, like non-duality, because the universe doesn't respond to no or not or none or should not or so this was a problem that I had when I was reading A Course in Miracles. The channel had so many double negatives that my mind was like, because I don't think that way. But once I could interpret what they're actually trying to say, and that they realized that the majority of Earth operates in double negatives, I guess people get that, but I don't. Joey, do I have any information on 3 Days of Darkness? There are always these interesting dreams that humans are continually conjuring for themselves, and this is one of them. The event, 3 Days of Darkness. I could go more religious here, and we could say, what do they call that? The resurrection. So many times when Jesus was supposed to come back. Well, Jesus has no particular desire or means to want to come back in one body, because he is not a body. And that degree of Christ conscious expansiveness would not choose to come back just in one body. It would be ridiculous. He wouldn't learn a thing. So going back to your question, do I have any information about this new thing that people are talking about in New Age communities that they call 3 Days of Darkness? There is always something new that the New Age community is conjuring that's going to happen, that was supposed to happen. Y2K, it was supposed to happen. December the 21st, for the last 3 years straight, something was supposed to happen. And now people are saying that we're going to go dark for 3 days. Okay. There are various things that happen in multidimensional living when you think that you're separate. And for some of you, it may happen. And for some of you that are not on that wavelength and the dimensional plane of living, you will not notice it or see it at all. Okay, what do you want to know about autism? Someone said I would love it if she could respond to autism. Um, yeah, I'm assuming you want my take on what it is. Um, what I've observed so far is that it is a contractual experience. It is a part of a contract in your dreaming where the autistic being is not actually suffering. It's not actually having a problem. It's the judgments of the adults around them that have the problem. Yeah, it is a chosen path where beings are attempting to connect to you in a unique way. They have their own language, they're in their own world, and it is powerful, you know? It is powerful. So there are many purposes of it. Someone asked me, what about the purpose of it? Based upon that being's contract with you, that being is a reflection of you, a part of your soul, standing before you in form. And there are many contracts, there are many reasons. So many, but most of the time it's between the families and it's awakening people around them, yeah, awakening mom and dad spiritually. What is going on in their spirit? They're more connected to oneness than you. Not you personally, Kim, but you, anybody. They're more connected to oneness than most anyone on the planet. That is what's going on. And because they're not of this world and they are not in it and they are not of it. Therefore, their behaviors are so different that society judges it as bad. Just reading your questions. Give me a second. What mantras or deities are useful in connecting with the great undoing? Hanuman, Ganesh, many of them. Deities are fractals of you that are attempting to teach you something really powerful. What am I drinking? It is a matcha coconut green tea latte. When will my book be available to Audible? Right now, it is only available on patreon.com. Um, and it's only like partially written. So, where is Jordan? She is at the skate park right now teaching Elijah how to skate. They're having fun. Somebody just walked in, and it wasn't a human somebody. Don't you love it when Dolores Cannon just walks in and takes a seat on your couch and starts eating cookies? I just kind of look over. I'm like, cheers, hi. Welcome this morning. And then, of course, the next question is, what do you want, Dolores? Oh, guys have questions for Dolores Cannon. Apparently, she wants to come eat cookies with us. What kind of cookies? They are, she says they are white chocolate macadamia nut. What are my thoughts on Moksha? On Nirvana? Is, I think that as long as humans are walking around trying to convince themselves that they're miserable and being attached to their misery, that they're nowhere near moksha. Yeah. Will I be channeling the A team again soon? Well, it looks like it. When Russ visited my house just last night, and he walks in with a massive picture that he borrowed from his friend Anne, and it was a wet signature from Albert Einstein. Oh, the message on the back. I haven't even read the message yet. And then Dolores sat down beside him and started eating some cookies. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Something's up. Because this is what they do when they want to talk to me. How's the afterlife? She said, what after? Life is life. That was a question for Dolores. I'm trying to find the message. I took a screenshot of it, and it was on the back of this photo. And it's in this little handwriting that I can't really read. So I might have to blow it up. Where the world ceases to be the stage for personal hopes and desires, where we, as free beings, behold it in wonder, to question and to contemplate. There we evidence the something, art, and yeah, I can't read this guy's handwriting, but he put an Einstein quote on the back of this. If we trace out what we behold and experience through the language of logic, we are doing science. If we know it in forms whose interrelationships are not accessible to our conscious thought, but are intuitively recognized as meaningful, we are doing art. Connection to both is the devotion to something beyond the personal, removed from the arbitrary. Albert Einstein. This quote showed up at my house. Russ literally drove it over on the back of a signed, and it was a wet signature from Albert Einstein. And that was when Dolores came in and took a seat on my couch right by me. All right. Well, that was fun. How do you know when your breath is in sync? In sync with what? You're assuming that it has to be in sync with something that's separate. That is why I ask you that question. So I wouldn't use the word in sync, but you know that you are your breath when all thoughts cease and you are simply at peace. Okay, Harjeet, I have said hello to her from you. She waved with her cookie like that and then chomped it. Please ask Dolores, what would be a reason for someone attempting to be regressed 4 times and not be able to communicate in the hypnosis? She says it's more common than you believe. She says they're not meant to. Why did you do it 4 times? If it doesn't happen the first time, let it be. Leave it alone. Information comes when information is relevant, and when the records are ready, they will become apparent to that person. And if it's not meant to be in that moment, you are slamming a square peg into a round hole. She gives me the image of like round hole, square peg, and someone just pounding the crap out of it with a hammer. She said maybe they weren't meant to access that level of consciousness in that moment. It could have been an ego defense mechanism. So why are you breaking that defense mechanism? Stop. It's okay. Whatever messages come through or don't, that is exactly what was supposed to happen. That's a great question, Luke. He said, Dolores, if we commit to Pamela's CONNECT acronym of the undoing, is aura alchemy or aura alchemy type modality still necessary? She said they were never necessary to begin with. Nothing ever was. You are having fun believing that it is. Not you, she meant anyone in society. Is Dolores eating cookies a lot? We only have a few more minutes. No, but when she eats cookies like that, it means she wants tea. She didn't drink tea, but I do. So she wants tea with me, and she wants me to sit down and take a break and talk to her. She does that when she really wants to talk to me. Or sometimes she'll interrupt my sessions and start talking to my client. She is really insistent. Dolores talked about accessing the Akash and the Akashic records. Can you ask her if she was wrong? She said, I'm not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm not right. You're not right. Any questions? Yeah. All right. We can take a few more questions, but I can feel my jaws starting to be achy. So I'm going to have to go take some Motrin. Probably ask for some Reiki from someone in my office today. I work in an office full of Reiki, cranial sacral, healing touch, shamanic practitioners, and massage therapists. It is the most amazing place that spirit could have ever lined up for me. And they're just starting to come in for their days. They all come in at 11. We all start work at 11. So I might have to connect with one of them and say, please make my face feel as if it is actually not going to fall off of my head. Good morning, Marisol. Does Dolores have tips for connecting to the subconscious in waking life to create change? She said, most of you are attempting to create change because you can't accept what's right before you. Acceptance of what is important. Change will come as it is necessary. But what if, and try this, she said, just try this for me. What if you could just accept your life as it is? What if you could accept your world as it is? Why do you think that something's wrong all the time? She said it just like that too. Why do you think that something's wrong all the time? Don't shoot the messenger. I just repeated her message. All right, guys, I'm going to go so that I can put more ice on my face and prepare to start working in sessions with you for the day. I love you very much, and I will see you very soon. If you want more of these, you can find these types of classes and Q&As, satsang, sound healings, book writing, all of that stuff, channelings, especially a lot of channelings on patreon.com/my name. See you soon.